Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, hope you're looking after yourselves. Yes, we've got another special edition episode of Pick Up the Mic, where we're going to be talking about something that is very interesting to many of you. You might have done some of this yourself, which is Brunel volunteers and Brunel buddies. We might even dive into PAL leaders as well. So it's sort of like a multi-episode on the different professional stuff that could help you at Brunel. But yeah, as you can see, we've got an amazing guest speaker back on. Monica's back on the podcast. So yeah, if people don't know you already from the many things you do at Brunel, as well as being on here, could you let us know a bit more who you are again, just for any newcomers, what you do and what you've been up to? Because I think the last time you actually did a pickup, a lot's happened. So yeah.
Okay, so my name is Monica. I just finished my marketing degree in Brunel from bachelor's, and I'm currently one of the officers in the union, full-time officers. So I'm the education welfare officer of College of Business, Arts and Social Science. So that means that my full-time role is in terms of the students and what are the necessary needs around it and how we can help them as a union and to represent them. Besides that, obviously, that's my new role. Previously, I was president of Portuguese Society, president of volleyball, youth officer, volunteering, and a few more things, but I think we need to keep it short. But yeah, that's a little bit of my Brunel journey.
Oh, perfect. And yeah, if you haven't, we will include them in the description and on one of the corners of YouTube. Please do check out Monica's previous episodes, as well as, I should say as well, you hosted our first ever in-person event, our Women's Networking event, which again, you can check that out, that it was live streamed.
Very fun.
Yeah, really great time, great conversations, and yeah, definitely recommend. So we're going to get started. Let's start with Brunel volunteers. So there might be some Brunel students who, whether they're sort of prospective students or they're students who've been at Brunel for a year, they've seen people wearing these t-shirts and these hoodies, but they might not necessarily know who they are, what they do. So could you let us know what Brunel volunteers is and what work do they do?
Yeah, so Brunel Volunteers is one of the departments we have at Brunel to help students not only to work on themselves in terms of giving back to the community, in terms of meeting more people while they're doing volunteer, but it is also a really good place for you to even get connection with a potential workplace in the future, because we do work a lot. The university works a lot with a few companies, and you actually don't volunteer just in events in Brunel. You can volunteer in actually corporates and companies with them, and you learn a lot throughout the years. And yeah, it's great for you to do it. You give volunteer hours throughout the whole year, so that gives you an award, which is great for your CV. great, never misses, and you have a nice ceremony as well. But yeah, it's basically just a program to help students know how to volunteer, how to give back to the community, how to potentially meet others, how to have amazing opportunities like meeting the mayor. That has happened so many times. So yeah, it's a very fun thing during your time in Brunel.
Definitely, I definitely agree. And I think, like you said, professionally as well, to all of these sort of like organizations you're volunteering with, you're working with, you're sort of helping out. Yeah. Those are things that, as a student, you probably might not necessarily be going to, or even if you are, you're not necessarily working with these organizations, you're just taking part in the event. So being able to do that is really cool. But yeah, I guess for some people it might be obvious, but Brunel Volunteers, it's not a paid position, is it?
It's nothing paid. Everything is volunteering. That's it.
Okay. Let's start with that then. So why did you decide to be a Brunel volunteer? Because I know there is the Brunel, or there are paid positions that students can do while they're studying. And I know for some students they prefer to do that because it's like income coming in. But yeah, why did you decide to be a Brunel volunteer?
Well, obviously I cannot say it was for the t-shirts, although they're very nice, and the sweatshirts. I cannot say it was for the award. That looks good on the CV. But I think it's just in general, like sometimes we think, oh my God, I would love to volunteer. Like when you see on the internet people volunteering, you're like, I would love to do that, because it makes you feel good as a person, that you're doing good. Obviously in our daily basis right now we're so focused on like success, and we need to get a job, and we need to get paid, and we need to get everything, that we become a bit selfish. So it's always a good time of our week that we can just spend not being selfish with ourselves, and actually trying to give back and help with the others. So for me it was mainly like that, because I used to have so much busy weeks with everything, and my societies, my events, my everything, that during that time I was just like, okay, I'm just enjoying with the other volunteers, because there's always so many volunteers around. You make so many good friendships. I'm just enjoying here. I'm meeting new people. I'm meeting the mayor. I'm not gonna let that go. We just meet the mayor randomly. And it builds you as a person as well when you start putting first the fact that you volunteered and just earning money. It starts building you, not professionally only, but personally as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, it is really good to give back, especially to give back to your community. And there are a wide range of charities and organisations that Brunel works with, to sort of give ourselves like a bit of promotion. One of them is City Year UK, that we've done an episode with City Year, and you can check that out, as well as another episode we did about placements and a student who was placed there. But like you said, the student that, I don't know if she necessarily went through Brunel Volunteers, but I know she did do a placement there. But they do volunteering with Brunel, and she got her placement through she could have got her placement through the volunteering that she did, which, like you said, professionally is really good. And it's also, again, that idea of giving back to your community, helping others, not necessarily like putting yourself always first, but also, I think, like you said, both for like mental health wise, it's a nice way to sort of like do something. Like, you can see sort of the impact that you're having on people, whether it is just, welcoming people to events, whether it's handing things out, whether it's taking part in activities with people, whether it's even speaking about your own experiences at events. It is really nice to sort of have that impact and that sort of, that change on someone else's life.
I've done obviously a couple of volunteers. They're all super different. I was involved in Brunel Buddies, which is basically like a program where you help other students to just arrive on campus. So you give them tips, what advice should they get, what department should they get, like if they have any necessary things on campus, and you kind of like their first friend when they arrive on campus. There's a whole Brunel Buddy event that you just meet your buddy and you talk with them. And normally there are like seniors, they're like third-year masters that know how Brunel works. I've done that. I also have done a lot of charity events in terms of, I ran my own baking cell on campus. You are allowed to do that. You can try to fundraise money for causes that you believe in. I've done around almost also homelessness in Hillington, refugees in Hillington. I fundraised, I think it was around £3,000 for those corporates, for those charities around Hillington. So it definitely, when you listen to all of those things, you're like, oh, wow, like that I did that. Yeah. Like it's actually surprising, but they have a vast variety of things you can do. Even, for example, in Freshers Week, you can help the freshers find out where our nightclub is. It's still a volunteer, like it's fun, but it is. And there's so many opportunities that you cannot even just nominate a few of them. They're all so different. You can just having fun. You can actually do something more academic. There's so many of them.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. And, it's going to be a difficult question, but is there a favorite? Is there a favorite of volunteering event that you did or activity that you did that you feel like you'd like, if anyone was to do at least one, you'd say this is the one that they should go for?
So it's hard. In different ways. So obviously the freshers one, I love it because you're in contact with all the freshers. You can still attend all the freshers activities. So you still had a pretty fun week. There was one that really made the impact on me, which was here in Brunel. It was basically little kids. They were going for 7th grade or something. And they came here and they were basically learning about safety, how to cross streets, how to get the bus. And it was really a shock for me. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm feeling old right now that I'm now learning this. And just the fact to keep sure that they were so safe, the kids. Like, without the volunteers, there was just one teacher per class. So it could be a bit shaky, a bit more dangerous. But helping them was definitely, they were so happy around them. When they're all sitting there, just pointing. And I was like, they're university students. And I'm like, oh, we all been there. And obviously, I'm a bit biased, but all the nights that I've organized to fundraise for refugees and homelessness, that was very close to heart when I heard the numbers, and I was like, wow, this is really good. Yeah. This really helps. Yeah,
definitely. And I think for two things. So the opportunity to talk about was the Junior Citizens program that's run. So
bad memory.
No. But it's like you said, I think it's a really good program because it's supposed to be borough by borough. Don't quote me on this, but it's supposed to be borough by borough. But I know Hillingdon definitely do it. It was something that I might have done it. I don't remember doing it, but I think it is really nice because, like you said, especially at that age, to learn like how to use your Oyster card, you know, fire safety, how to travel in London, all of this like life skills that, you know, it's kind of funny that. So certainly, some of these things, you know, even as a uni student, you don't actually know or you've forgotten. So I guess even from a volunteering point, you know, it might be useful for you to learn these skills again.
It is. When they're explaining the fire, I was like, oh. I almost burned my kitchen doing exactly that.
But yeah, it's really good. Like you said, to just see the impact that it has on them as well. But also, I think, like you said, regarding like the individual like fundraising and things like that, I think it's really important because as a young person, you're not always given the opportunity to make like a huge change or a huge impact, whether it's on your local community, on even like another person. So even like you said, just to be able to do that, to just, you know, whether it's fundraise or to, you know, work at a charity and to help them with the work that they do, I think that's really impactful. And like you said, it's sort of like, I know people can sometimes feel like this is wrong about charity work, but it is good to sort of not necessarily like I'm better than sort of like the person I'm helping, but you're sort of like seeing that there's
it's about your own like mental peace.
Exactly.
When you get home and you're like, today I did good, not good for myself, but today I help someone else. Like I give my hand to someone else, and that really brings you a lot of peace with you because. As I said, sometimes we focus so much on our own life that we forget that there's people in so much like in worse situations than ours, like in situations we cannot even imagine. So when you're able to see that, it gives you a bit different perspective that even your normal day and you as a person kind of start building around that maybe I shouldn't be overreacting over this thing when it's such a small one. So yeah, it builds you as a person.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, you know, like you said, it makes you be grateful about the things in your life that you've got like easy. So whether it's, you know, simple things that you might not necessarily like I said, like accommodation or somewhere to live where you might be like, it sucks because, you know, this wasn't working or I'm not living with friends, but, you know, there are people that are unfortunately less fortunate than people. It is nice to sort of like remember that. I say this like I don't do this all the time, but it is nice to remember in those moments that you've got like things you should be grateful for in your life, even if it doesn't always feel like that. But yeah, let's continue with the volunteers. So you mentioned the volunteer awards, and if I think I got this correct. You won gold.
I won gold. Yes, 3 years in the making.
Could we know a bit more about that? How it works? What the different like gold, silver, and bronze, I guess, awards mean?
So basically, Brunel Volunteers Award is something amazing. You need to do it. It's great on your CV. It's the first thing you need to start doing when you get to Brunel. Because everyone has this issue that they only hear about it when it's almost close to the day. And then they have like 1 month or two to do everything. You're not going to have time. That happened to me my first year. Learn from my mistake. So you have 3 different awards. So 3 different? Yeah. Yes, 3 different. So you have the bronze one, which you have done 25 hours of volunteering. You have the silver one, which you have done 50 hours of volunteering. And you have the gold one, which you have done more than 100 hours in volunteering. So basically, every time you do volunteer activity, something around that, you email Brunel Volunteers team. You like tell them exactly how many hours was it. Don't lie, they do check. So you tell them all the hours, and they keep putting in your file, and even they will put on your
transcript.
Transcript. They will put everything, every single event that you attended as volunteer. They put on your here transcript. And they just record the hours, and at the end of the year, which I think normally is around April that they finish the volunteering, they just tell you how many hours was it, and you get your award. And not only is it an actual really nice paper and a really nice little trophy, but you can also put it in your CV, and it's great because in terms of professional wise, when you have such big volunteer in your CV, it shows that you're not just around the money, you actually also care about causes, you also care about the actual work being done, and not just I want to get paid.
Mental health is really important to us at Pick Up the Mic, and we love to share resources that can support your mental health. And that's why we are so glad to have today's sponsor. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get you started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live appointments when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't right for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at an affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/pickupthemic. I've also linked them down below in the description. So again, that's betterhelp.com/pickupthemic, MIC, and start your journey today.
You know?
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think, like you mentioned about the awards, and we will mention how the volunteering links into other awards at Brunel.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think, like you mentioned, professionally, it shows you are more than just like, as a candidate, like I've mentioned it in another episode, that when you're applying for jobs, it's kind of like you're competing with everyone else that's going for the job. So you want to make sure that you stand out as a candidate. And like you said, like showing that you've given 100 hours of volunteering to numerous charities is really great.
Yeah.
Because you can, people will ask you about it in your interview. People will say, oh, I saw on your like CV or your cover letter that you mentioned that you volunteered at this organization. Could we know a bit more? And it's a nice way in like interviews to sort of like relax. Because you're already tense because, you're worrying.
You're sitting in an interview.
Yeah, you're sitting in an interview. You're worrying about like, am I answering the questions right? And obviously, like in interviews, like I really hate this about interviews when you might think, oh, because they're writing stuff down or they're not necessarily paying attention, that you're saying the wrong thing or you're missing out on things. But that might not be the case. But yeah, I think it's really interesting that, like you mentioned, that having those unique things about you to show that you are more than just like a student that studied a subject. You are a student who studied a subject and volunteered and was a part of the society and did all of these things. People think, like you said, that you can't mention this, like your volunteering awards on your CV. But yeah, you
have to, especially because you can link right away. Like, for example, I was the social media volunteer. I was helping them with social media. I studied marketing. It's great for my CV. I help them volunteering in social media. So it can always connect in some way with your course. Like, I don't know, global supply chain. You go help the food bank in terms of their delivery points. Obviously, can be a bit help. Like, there's always something to connect with your course.
Yeah, definitely. And there'll always be like a volunteering opportunity, I think, as well. Like you mentioned, bringing it back to courses, there'll be a volunteering opportunity related to your course.
Yeah.
So I know there were some people from my undergraduate that volunteered in environmental organizations because that's their passion. It's always like, and I think even if you can't see one, then try and create one. Because like you said, you can approach charities, you can raise money for certain charities. If you study, like, for example, game design, I know, I don't remember the charity, but if I do and it pops up, then...
No, in medical, they have NHS. We also have collaboration with NHS as Brunel volunteers that even helping them translate patients, everything. There's so much. Yeah. There's too many opportunities. Not too many, but when you go on the website, it's hard to read all the ABCD, all the letters, because there's so many of them.
Yeah, so definitely check it out. I think also bringing it to the awards evening itself, like it is a nice it is a nice way to like, even they said it at the awards. I was lucky enough to go this year. They said it at the awards ceremony that it's a great opportunity to highlight to students, you've volunteered, you've taken your time out, you're not getting paid to do any of this stuff, but you've given all this support to all these charities, and you get awarded. As award evenings go, it's got a theme. So this year was Hollywood. If I can, I'll get some photos and maybe we'll be able to include. They made like a nice little video. So if I can include that, we'll show video of that as well. But yeah, it was really nice.
And a free meal.
And a free meal as well. So yeah, definitely would recommend. if you are a current student and you're coming back next year, definitely, sign up to Brunel Volunteers. It'll be, a really good opportunity.
It's a work in the making. In my first year, I didn't get anything. Second year, I got silver. Third year, I said I'm not leaving as a student without having the golds. So it's totally fine. Obviously, sometimes you cannot reach right away the golds. There's not a lot of students that do, because it does take a lot of time, especially students on visa. I know they can only make 20 hours job and volunteer together. They can only do 20 hours, so it's quite hard. But we still had a lot of students internationally getting the gold, and it was just beautiful, because you can see how hard they worked for it and how hard they were just giving away their time. So definitely something to check it out.
And I think as well, even if you're like a master student, because I think that was the thing that was really impactful, that there were some master students that got like silver and gold, and they were only here for a year. So to do that much within a year shows you that, even if you've got, next year is your final year, or you're literally just going into your masters, you can, as long as you know what you're doing, you're passionate about it, you can get it done.
Yes.
We're going to go on to Brunel Volunteers, and then we're going to end with how both, it's not Volunteers, Brunel Buddies, and then how both the work from Brunel Buddies and Brunel Volunteers links to some of the other awards that Brunel offers. So Brunel Buddies, you kind of mentioned what it is when you were talking about Brunel Volunteers, but have you seen that from the interactions you had with the buddies that you were sort of like looking after, have you seen them like come back to you? Are you still sort of close to them?
No.
Okay. That's fine.
Let's be honest. No, I'm not close to them at this point, but either you're not supposed to. So when you're a Brunel buddy, you're not supposed to be their friend. You're just supposed to be their first contact in university, helping them out. The second that we start kind of being friends, we need to let Brunel volunteers know that I don't want to be their buddy anymore. I actually want to be their friend. So they'll take out the Brunel buddy agreement, because obviously when you actually become a friend, you advise them in their personal life, and you cannot do that as a buddy, obviously, because you're not trained. You're not trained to do that. So I did have a few buddies. Obviously, there's always a chance that they're not going to go back to you because they found the program interesting. But when the email actually came out to like, let's meet, like maybe they're a bit anxious or something, so they come along or they don't show up to the event. So it does happen. That's totally normal. But I know Brunel Volunteers is working on that and making sure that the interactions are really good. But it definitely, all the students that I did had, they did all their questions in the beginning. And no question is silly. Exactly. No question. Even if you want to ask, what is the cheapest supermarket? I will tell you, no worries at all. Where can I get this? Where can I get that? Or some international students. Where can I get my, my paratas? Like there's so many things. No question is silly. Everyone is here for you. Even I wish when I came there was no Brunel buddies because it was COVID. I wish I had someone, because the amount of stupid stuff I had to do because I didn't know anything when I came here. I used like online banking for like 2 years. Because I didn't know that you're supposed to have a high street banking. It was COVID times. No one from here told me. And now I'm suffering that because now I want a credit store and there's no credit store. But definitely having that person that you can tell like a bit more about their experience, it does help a lot.
Definitely. And I think as well, like you mentioned, it is really great that it is students that are giving the advice, because like you mentioned, there are certain things as staff you won't know about. So like you said, even the cheapest supermarkets to go to, where can you get the best deals? If you're on a budget, how can you like make money stretch? Those are things that only as a student you will understand. So like you said, being able to sort of have someone that you can go to and say, oh, hey, look, I just want to let you know, like, this is like...
Having someone that understands you, because obviously all those stuff is very helpful, and we do our best to connect with the students. Sometimes, obviously, when you have been a student, you have felt it, so they can feel like they can connect with you because you will understand them. While sometimes with staff, they kind of feel like, oh, they're not going to understand me. Like, they're a completely different part of their life. If I ask this question, they're going to look like to me like I'm saying something ridiculous, which is not true. They're still going to help you, but I can understand the different fear, especially if you're coming from outside UK, like you're not used to obviously the people here and you're still adapting, so it can be a bit tricky to trust someone with some questions that they're completely different from you. Definitely.
And I think even as you mentioned, sort of like for the international experience, even having buddies that are from the same country,
they always do that,
is really helpful.
I forgot to say that actually when you apply as a buddy, you can not as a buddy itself, when you apply to have a buddy, You can say if you want someone from your same country as you. You can say if you want someone from the same course. If you're female, you can ask to have a female buddy. Like there's those types of things are considered. You can ask whatever you feel like it's better for you at that time. If you prefer someone from your course, so you can talk with them obviously academically, then you can ask that. If you prefer someone from your country, so you feel more comfortable in terms of sharing the experience of traveling around the world here, you can also do that. You can take all of them. You might be lucky to find someone the same thing as you. Like there is a lot of things you can tick on.
Oh, that's really good. We've come to the last thing, which is how all these activities, Brunel buddies, Brunel volunteers can link to, as I mentioned, the links to other awards. And the biggest award that I think it can link to, and maybe the only one, is the Brunel Plus Awards. We've spoken about it before, but we're going to talk about it again. Well, I actually know, because I was there, and so was Monica, that she won gold as well. Could we know a bit more about Brunel Plus, what it is? What
is Brunel Points?
Yeah, what is Brunel Plus? Let's start there. Yeah.
Brunel Points is another department, another scheme in Brunel. There's so many of them. I know it's hard to keep track. We should start making a whole list of all the programs in Brunel. But it's an amazing program. It's a taught in terms of professional program. And you basically just put all your activity of extracurricular activities. So you have a lot of awards in Brunel for your academic things, but this one is for your extracurricular things. Everything you do outside your studies. So if you're learning a new language, if you have become an officer in the union, if you're doing volunteering, if you're doing PAL as well. Paul Learning, the Ready program, everything you do outside your classes, everything that is not mandatory, but still you're willing to do it, you get points for it. And then again, there's a system of bronze, silver, and gold. Don't quote me, but I think it's 500, 1,000, and 1,500. I'm pretty sure that's it. And you just record everything, and they're super helpful. Even if there's something not on the website, you can ask them, and they probably will add it if they think it's suitable. And it's very easy to get points. It's very easy. You join a society, 10 points. Exactly. You join another society, 10 points. A club, 10 points. It's very easy.
Yeah, definitely. And even like you get it automatically, re-enrolling each year. You get points for that. Attending events.
It's really good, especially because it comes under the Professional Development Center. So obviously it comes from the Professional Development Center. So again, when you put on your CV, you're getting a gold award from Professional Center. It's amazing for you. And it shows that, again, you're not worried about your academic. You're also worried about the outside life. You give time for that. Amazing for your work.
Exactly. Yeah, definitely. So I'm just going to click because I can... so Brunel Plus, definitely recommend. And I think one thing, sorry to mention with it, is like you said, a lot of things at Brunel you don't find out about until you're towards the end of your degree. So I didn't even find out about Brunel Plus until I think as I finished my placement year going into my final year. And like you, I was saying that I wanted to get gold, set my sights on it. I think the most important thing to mention is a lot of students think they can't do it retrospectively, so they can't put I found out about it in my second year, I can't put any of the societies I joined in my first year, the events. You can put, anything. And even if you really want to go so far and do it, if you, so like me, you didn't reach all the points for your undergraduate, like many, I was thinking, oh gosh, if I come back to Brunel for my master's, I'm going to have to start from the beginning. It's completely incorrect. Your points carry over. So even if you got to silver or even bronze by the end of your undergraduate, you can come back, do a master's, and then you can just make sure that you maximize your points. So you can then get gold if you want by the end of it. It's like I said, we might even include the sort of scroll of the different things you can do, but there's so many different things. It's very easy, even just traveling to another country, you can get points for. So if you are traveling the world this summer, then you can get some Brunel points.
All you need to do is take a picture of you in it and upload it, but don't use AI to put your Eiffel Tower, you're touching it. Don't do that. They're gonna know. Exactly. But actually visiting and visit the country. Don't do that.
Exactly, definitely. We've come to the end of today's episode, and as always, it's been a pleasure, Monica, speaking with you.
It's always a pleasure coming here.
If our audience already don't know how to get in touch with you, how could they get in touch with you?
My Instagram is the main point that I also talk mostly with people. It's just @Monica_00. Or if you're from Brunel, I also have my staff email. You just type @Monica, it should show up right away as well. Don't use my student email. It's gone in like a few weeks. It's not going to exist anymore, but they're not going to delete it. So only staff email, and definitely social media. I'm everywhere. I study marketing. I have to be there.
And feel free. Monica does amazing work. Again, like I said, we'll include the previous episodes we've done. So if you want to learn a bit more about societies as well as things you didn't know about living on campus, then check those episodes out. But it's been a pleasure speaking to you guys again. If you like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe. It's always appreciated. If you want to make sure you don't miss the next episode, then click the notification bell at the bottom of the video. And finally, if you're interested in receiving some perks, supporting the podcast, there are 2 ways you can now do that. So you can either be a YouTube member, you can join our membership group, which is called Masters of the Mic on YouTube, and you can get exclusive access to certain episodes and sort of a few more perks there. Or if you feel more comfortable with Patreon, you can check out our Patreon page. The link is in the description, and you get the exact same perks there as well. It's been great having another sort of like special edition. I will come up with a title. I keep saying this every time I record it, but I promise there will be a title for these like one-off or like special edition episodes. We'll see you the next time when we do it's bye from us here. Have a great day.